From Ugly Parrot Studios in Newcastle, California, the Luma Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us.
It really doesn't work when I forget the joke. Anyway, welcome back, Mr. Robinson.
This cat makes a big deal about, this is what I'm going to say at the beginning. He gives me forewarning.
Then I forget.
That's groovy. I like it.
This is why Greg isn't going to be doing the intros for most episodes. We're glad Scott's back.
See, Gorilla got it. Hey, Larry, we need to try you on the intros.
All right.
Let's see how you do.
The confidence in that all right was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'll put as much effort into that as I do everything else in my life.
All right.
How'd that feel, Gorilla? Yeah. Spawn of my loins. Jackass.
All right, Scott Robinson with you for another episode of Beyond the Humidor. As you know, if you listened to the last episode, I was missing. I was tripping the light fantastic out in Florida, visiting family, new family as a matter of fact, and then just hopping around Florida. I think I've driven most of that state with the exception of South Florida, namely Miami. But a good time. I checked out 2 cigar lounges because I was there for other things.
Only 2?
Only 2.
Disappointing.
Actually,
Bob, be very disappointed, Bob.
Well, actually, it's all about quality, not quantity. I want to give a shout out to the Island Girl Cigar Bar out in Fleming Island, Florida. Met 2 wonderful ladies who work at the shop, Liz Miller, and by her own admission, this is what her description is: panty seller by night, manager and tobacconist by day.
Sounds like a good guest for the show.
Oh, yes. She has our attention.
There you go. Yeah, and
Hold on, we lost the Gorilla.
I didn't hear you. Did you speak into the mic?
You didn't hear me because I forgot to unmute myself. That's absolutely going on her guest card when she comes on the show. If that's what she's putting out there, you know what? God bless.
And then her cohort, Dr. Sandy Raquin. Sandy, I apologize if I got your last name wrong. I think that's how it's pronounced. But she is actually a doctor in education, was a principal, left the profession, and she says she makes more money at the cigar bar than she did being a principal.
I could believe that.
Probably less assholes, too.
You would think that.
Hey, man.
Remember, it's a cigar lounge.
Yeah, but she came from education, and nobody's parenting their children anymore, so it's probably a sidestep at best.
And the good news is you can always hurl a drink at someone who gets a little outlandish. So, yeah, it is a little better. You don't have angry parents saying, "Why did you slap Tommy?"
Probably because Tommy deserved it.
Yeah, Tommy's a dickhead.
Way to pick a name that associates well with the podcast. Somewhere in Idaho, our #1 fan's going, "What'd I do?" Not you, man.
That's not you, man. I just popped, a name just popped in my head. Sorry.
Sure.
Dave's not here, man. Jesus. So overall, the trip to Florida was good.
I need a vacation from the vacation. I did so much fucking driving, it was ridiculous.
Put Tiny Wife behind the wheel for a while.
Really?
It was a thought.
Really? It's hard enough when she's in the passenger seat and she does the, no, you got to turn there. I swear I am going to.
Didn't we have this conversation a couple episodes ago?
Yeah, I'm getting her a pillbox hat and putting her in the back seat.
Yeah, nothing's better than when you're driving home to your house where you've lived for how many years, and your wife in the seat next to you says, "You got to turn here." You realize I've been here before, right?
Yeah, but here's the problem.
Look at the gorilla shaking his head. Yeah.
Here's the problem, though. There's times that she's right, like when we were on our way to the airport, and, I'm going by the GPS, and because of the scaling, I didn't quite get the turn right. So I am trying to avoid toll roads. Fuck you, Florida, but you do have nice roads, so half a fuck you, because every other road's a goddamn toll road. So I put in the GPS, no toll roads, because it's a rental, so if you get on certain ones and it's a rental, you hit the $25 penalty plus the toll.
What?
Wow.
It's weird. you got to have a certain.
Is that the Ron DeSantis clause? What is that?
I don't know.
All right.
But I'm driving.
So long story short, you got on a toll road and had to go all the way to the end before you could turn around, huh?
Yeah, so I'm driving and I make the right, and Sue's like, no, honey, not this way, not this way. It's like, well, that's what it says. And I look and I'm on the toll road and I'm like, fuck. It only cost me $2.25, so it wasn't one of those $25 ones. But
Leave it to Scott to find the budget toll road. Nice. That's nice.
Avoid the toll roads. You end up on a dirt road going by Tim's Gator Palace.
you know what? It's funny you mentioned that.
Oh, no.
As I'm driving in these little towns, what did I see? Dollar General, Waffle House, Dollar General, Waffle House. And then when I got into civilization, oh, look, a Dollar Tree. Start snazzing it up.
Tim's Gator Palace.
Yeah, I'm sure Tim's Gator Palace was somewhere.
You just didn't see it.
Yeah.
No.
That's a sign behind the Dollar General. Yeah.
Are you sure? It could be behind the Waffle House.
Hey, come here. Come here. I got something to show you. Yeah.
Did you dine at the Waffle House?
Fuck no. I am not dining at the Waffle House.
Just checking.
You understand you just insulted like 70% of our audience across the country.
I've seen what goes down inside Waffle Houses. In all fairness, maybe that's at night. Like, you remember that video of the gal who gets a chair thrown
Just
at her?
palms it.
Yeah.
Just
No, she didn't palm it.
palm it and deflect.
She Wonder Woman that.
Hey.
She blocked it with her forearm and threw it to the side. I was like, holy shit.
Hey, man, not every Waffle House you go to across America reminds you of a scene out of, No Country for Old Men. You know, it's just, some of them are actually okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I've been to a couple.
Oh, but I
got
have to
people.
mention.
I got people.
You look like the average demographic for the Waffle House. That's not surprising.
Wow.
Who hired this kid?
You did.
Well, collectively, you.
Yeah.
All of you.
Now, I did discover something when I was driving, which was most of my vacation. Driving from DeLand, going through Daytona, I look off the freeway, and it's this sign with a happy little beaver. It's a place called Buc-ee's. Now, all you Texans and Floridians know what I'm talking about right now, but let me enlighten the rest of the world, if you will. Now, I looked at it and I thought, it said, is that a home improvement store? Well, no.
Well, I mean, it might be. You can buy a hammer and some lumber and shit there, probably.
No shit.
They sell damn near everything.
It is like a freaking gas station and then this giant store with every goddamn thing you can imagine, from ice to barbecue pits to
Got a Hawaiian shirt and a barbecue sandwich, didn't you?
I got a brisket sandwich and it was damn good.
There you go.
I mean, I must have walked through that store for about maybe 40 minutes, just in awe. I was just like, okay, you got all the drinks, you've got brisket sandwiches, salads, beaver nuggets.
What?
Excuse me?
Yes, beaver nuggets.
Wonder what they're made out of.
Real beaver. Beaks and feet.
A whole new world.
But Buc-ee's Buc-ee's is now my new favorite place. And when I was there, I did purchase a stuffed Buc-ee. I just forgot it today, but it will. I promise it will be on the next show.
Way to build up and just let everyone down.
I know. I fucked up. I'll send you the pictures of Buc-ee flying home in first class.
Jesus.
You'll enjoy it.
This is what we've come to.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, fuck my life.
But yet people on death row hang in there. I don't understand.
Yeah.
What are you mumbling over there, Greg? Since this is a cigar podcast, should we talk about what we're smoking?
Might be a good idea.
I
We
was just
touch on
kidding
that.
there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying not a problem. You know, when I get through with my terribly bad news that's coming up, it's going to still be a cigar podcast. But
All
anyway,
right. What do you got? What do you got? Your little
my Cigar.
your dick beaters wrapped around. What are you smoking?
Yeah. What do you?
So I've picked out an Ave Maria Divinia. It is it's a nice everyday, fairly inexpensive cigar. This one happens to be a sun-grown wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Cuban seed, Nicaraguan filler. It's just a good stick. It is, I forget who makes it. I think it comes out of Alec Bradley, but it's just one of those where, you want something that is affordable for an everyday smoke. This definitely applies. Good flavor. This one's in a Perfecto would be the closest shape to what it is because it's got the funny points on both ends. But, it's just a good everyday smoke. And for something today where it was, I'm not really sure what I want, this was the ideal choice.
Nice. How about you, Larry?
I've got the Oscar Valadares, whatever. Sorry, Oscar. Love you, man.
Oscar will not be joining us on this.
Yeah. Shut up over there. I've got the Wild Hunter. Came out at IPCPR, which is now PCA.
Correct.
Back in July of 2019. It's an all Honduran cigar, binder, filler, wrapper, the whole deal. And it is only available in Toro at 6x52. Typically what you would think of a all Honduran product. It's smooth, earthy kind of sweetness to it. Very good morning cigar. I would go with it. I've smoked quite a few of these. Very good in the morning if you're doing coffee. You don't necessarily have to have a meal. It's a medium bodied. I wouldn't even say medium to full. It's pretty solid medium. It comes in a natural, which I'm smoking, and a Maduro. I've had both. They're both really good cigars. It gets a little bit stronger the last third of the cigar, but it's what you would expect from a Honduran. It's got the kind of woody cedar spice sweet. There's a little bit of pepper on the front end that gets a little stronger as it goes along, and it's got kind of a leather smell to it when you light it. It's got that kind of campfire, which you get with a lot of Hondurans. Overall, I think it's a pretty good cigar. Price point is decent for the cigar that you're getting out of it. And if you haven't tried one, it's definitely worth a try if you see one. It's got kind of a unique band. It's got the Hunter's orange lettering and stripes, and then a camo background. The box art is pretty cool with the camo stuff. So Oscar does a pretty good job with that. With the visual presentation of his products. So all around, it's what you'd expect from Oscar. It's a decent cigar for the price, and maybe wouldn't be necessarily an everyday for me, but I throw one in the rotation every couple of weeks or so.
Okay. I'm smoking a Perdomo 20th anniversary sun-grown. I noticed one thing in the shops I went into in Florida. I actually did more than 2 shops. There were a couple of small shops I did in St. John's and a couple other cities, and I noticed one thing out there, or at least the shops I went into. Perdomo has a huge presence.
In Florida?
Yeah, because it's
in Florida.
It's based in Florida, duh, but still, I was just kind of surprised because this is the most I've seen Perdomo in a lounge. Usually it's 1 or 2 things. You get the 10th anniversary champagne. I always like the 20th anniversary when it came out. This is a sun-grown. It's all Nicaraguan. The wrapper is Nicaraguan sun-grown. Cuban seed, 8 years old. And the filler is Cuban seed Nicaraguan as well. It's it's aged bourbon barrel, about 10 months. Really rich, earthy.
Now, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Is that aged in the barrel after it's rolled, or is the leaf aged in the barrel?
That's a good question. I think the cigar itself is aged in the barrel.
And I don't know. I read something somewhere recently, and it was one of those things where you saw a blip like on Facebook, and then when I went to click the whole article, it wouldn't load off my phone.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off because once you back out of that, you never see that again, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
But somebody, and maybe a listener, viewer could help us with this if they've heard anything. Somebody is aging leaf tobacco in bourbon barrels before they roll it.
Okay, actually, I'm wrong. You just mentioned that. Actually, the cigar itself isn't aged. The Nicaraguan sun-grown wrapper is actually bourbon barrel aged.
Okay,
So-
maybe that was what I saw. Like I said, I couldn't click on the when I clicked on the article, it just backed me out to the original page again. But
Yeah.
that's an interesting, because we've seen quite a few. There's been quite a few things come down the pipe over the last few years that are barrel aged in something, but this is the first thing that I ever recalled seeing or hearing about that it was the leaf being aged in a bourbon barrel before it was rolled. So that's kind of a cool concept.
Yeah.
So.
Now, one thing I do want to mention, though, someone calling you about your auto warranty.
Yeah, it was probably
Ah, okay.
the hazards of recording at Ugly Parrot Studios.
Whether it's a generator or the phone.
Yeah, we'll get the generator in a little while.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it's a air compressor, smart
Air
ass.
compressor, yeah. So,
Oh, before you go into that, I just want to mention one thing. I managed to get into a CI over in Tampa.
yes.
Okay, Island Girl Cigar Lounge is awesome. Whenever I make my way to Fleming Island, and if I manage to move to Florida and move to Fleming Island, I found my place and I found my people.
Nice.
I mean, folks were like, yeah, you got to come here. Live out here. You can do the show from here. We actually had folks who have heard the show.
Nice.
Good.
So that was pretty awesome. All
Thank
the way
you,
out in
Florida.
So
They throw anything at you, or
they
there's a
thoroughly,
thumbs up?
thoroughly enjoyed the show. As a matter of fact, Liz, she was like, oh yeah, I heard one of the episodes. It was the Christmas bear.
The judgmental
Jesus.
Christmas bear.
There we go.
Yes.
Way to start out.
Oh
man.
yeah, you're going full tilt. But yeah, it was a great lounge, full bar, and plenty of room. I mean, there's plenty of room to smoke. I mean, it's just a huge shop.
You had me at full bar.
Yeah, and pretty impressive humidor. So really nice place. So CI over in Tampa. Before the Super Bowl, I managed to make my way over there because it was about 15 minutes from my hotel. So I get over to CI early morning. Again, CI's humidor. Holy shit, man.
Well, and it's funny. Now I think you understand how many times I've said on the show and in various discussions we've had, the reputation that they have is bullshit.
Uh-oh.
Okay, talk to me.
So they have a reputation, and if you look at the forum, you look at Facebook at the various cigar groups, I'm not going to call any of you groups out, but a lot of people have a very negative view of CI. And now that you've been to one, you can see they've got a huge humidor. Their selections are all top notch.
Yes.
Everything that people bitch about is absolutely wrong.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I told you the other day, one of the boxes I picked up was a box of Balmorals.
Yeah, fuck you.
And then another find, and this was an impulse buy. If my wife is listening or if her girlfriend's listening, you're to close your ears right now. So I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, close your ears, and now I'm going to discuss this. So I'm sitting at the register, and I was talking about Plasencia, because one of my favorite Plasencias, they didn't have a full box of, so I just cleaned out the last remaining box.
Ah, you're one of those kind of assholes.
Yes, I'm one of those kind of assholes. So my man behind the counter, being the salesman that he is, he says, have you seen this? He pulls out the Plasencia, and forgive me, my Arab brothers and sisters, if I mispronounce this, Etafal, limited edition. It's a box of 10 cigars. It was done for the World Cup in Qatar.
Okay.
Beautiful green box. We'll have a picture of it. 10 of these cigars, Nicaraguan sun-grown Jalipa, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan and Honduran filter. Yes, say Nicaraguan 3
Filler.
times. Thank you. Filler. I cannot fucking talk.
Hey, are we having a Krihua and a Honduran moment again.
You do realize I'm holding a glass that will break very nicely across your face.
The only reason you're entitled to that is because of your situation from last week. Anyway.
Yeah.
Here
Anyway.
we go.
Oh,
So,
okay.
nonetheless,
so hold on.
continue about the Qatar.
So anyway, this was done for the World Cup in Qatar. It goes for $65 a stick. Yeah. So
Hey,
you
look
know,
at the bright side. It wasn't a box of 20.
$1,300.
yeah, but I was just like, he shows me the box. And I'm like, I like Placencia. Fuck it. Go ahead and throw it in my tab.
Did you ask how much before that happened?
Yes, I did. And I thought about it for about 10 seconds and just said, well, they're limited edition and
You did the typical guy thing. Yep.
yeah, fuck it.
Have you smoked one yet?
No, it is lovingly nestled away in my humidor, which leads to the question. And I know I got to get the camera gorilla to what he's smoking, but real quick, around the bend, I already know what your answer is. Is there a box or boxes in your humidor collection that are just like the ultimate something you don't want to even touch? And just for the benefit, just so that he can vocalize it, Greg, what is that for you?
My Partagas Lusitanias.
Okay, color me surprised. You know what I thought he was going to say?
Thought I was going to say my 25 and a half and counting boxes of Last SARS. Those are not for, I'm actually smoking through those.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Larry?
There's nothing in my humidor that is off limits. There's a couple things that I'm sad that we're down to one or two of because they don't exist anymore. Via Havana, we've talked about before. I think I have one red car left, and that's it. But I've got. Did you? Are you turned on?
Damn it, I keep forgetting I mute myself so you don't hear my fucking pens and shit. My question was, is there something on that, in that last remaining cigars that's the top of the pyramid that you're saving for, like, not a chipping wood in the rain cigar?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of those. I've got a handful of different things. I have a handful of Cubans, Cohibas. I think I got 4 that. Yeah, when I get one of those out, I'm sitting down. I'm not doing anything else but smoking. I've got 3 Byrons left. I had about 15 3 or 4 years ago. I smoke maybe 3-4 Byrons a year. And so it'll be time to pick up another Byron or 2 here and there. There's
If we can find them.
There's a handful of things. The Mexican, the ones that came in the glass jars.
Oh, yeah.
Are those Rocky or no?
You mean the ones I have a full case of, 3 jars each?
Yeah. I've got, I think.
Those are not off limits if you come over, by the way.
I think I've got just under a full jar of those left. Sherry actually found some of those for me online and bought a jar of those because our local brick and mortar couldn't get any more.
That was an adventure, by the way, because she was asking me, I was asking Craig. We were trying to confirm, like, are these the right thing?
Yeah, and it's funny. We've talked about this a little bit before. Cigars are one of those things where, yeah, I mean, there's cool stuff. I've got a lot of cigars. If I didn't buy another cigar I could probably smoke for 2 years on what I've got. But you run across things that you've never seen that you want to try, so you buy 2 or 3, or you buy a box, or you do this, or you do that. But I mean, these things they were manufactured to be smoked.
Yeah.
I'm not a collector of cigars per se. I am a cigar smoker. So literally everything in my humidor is there to be smoked at some point in time. Is there a specific time for certain cigars? Yeah, probably. But by and large, no. I smoked a last Cigar this morning. That was my morning cigar, and I have nowhere near the numbers that Greg has.
Mine's kind of an obsession.
Well, and that's a very good cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you find something you like, buy it. I mean, we have if you have the means, this is one of those vices that I'm okay with indulging. I'm at a point in my life where I can afford to buy a cigar that I want, and that's what I'm going to do. And the hell with it.
Well, it's funny. You got guys at work, including my boss. He's like, he now understands the cigar bid whole thing, but he's like, you have so many. Why do you keep needing more? And I'm like, why do you keep needing more golf clubs? Same thing. Mm-hmm. But, and it sounds like I'm hoarding cigars at my house, but there's a rule too.
Dude, you are.
Well, yes, I am. But there's a rule too. And that rule is, except for one shelf in my humidor, whoever comes over, there's the humidors, help yourself. So
yeah, and I mean, by and large, that's kind of how I operate too.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Dad. You seem like you're more on the spectrum of, I have really good cigars that I only have a few of, but you're more on a whim with when you'll smoke them. Like, today's a good day. I have time to enjoy and smoke this. It might be while you're at the office, but I have the time to enjoy this. I'm not gonna be setting it down, so I'll enjoy the one today because I feel like it. For the other two gentlemen, for example, your Partagas and the Etafals, are you more casual with them like my dad, or are you waiting for a special event, the second coming of Christ? Like, what is the threshold of when you're like, today's the day for one of those?
Something tells me I might be smoking one on Friday.
Yeah, you might.
Lighting that up in the motorhome on the way up, are you? No. All right.
No, I'm thinking as I walk out my office for the last time, like playing the sad song from the Incredible Hulk in my head.
Hey, before we get into that, and we got to get into that, Gorilla.
Yeah.
What are you gnawing on over there, Gorilla?
The Gorilla's cigar stash has gotten very barren the last couple weeks because I just haven't gone and bought cigars yet.
Come to my house.
Yeah. Also, cigar bit is a thing that I'm trying not to indulge as much in because, dear Christ, it's scary.
That's how it starts.
Scott was ever so kind enough to let me dip into his humidor, and I have a Yellowstone by Big Sky, which we got from Stokey's, which, since we're recording these in the evening and not eating the big meal beforehand, I've been leaning toward lighter stuff for the show.
No, that's a good idea. That's a good idea until you get a few more years into this obsession.
It's true.
I don't even give them a year. I think about the next 6 months.
Well, also, what am I doing after this? Am I going home to eat and lay down, or am I going to do
Going to work?
You're going to work, goddammit.
So I'd rather have the lighter cigar and feel good the rest of the night. So
Yeah. No, and there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah, it's funny. We've when we talk to, we've had guests on the show that everybody's got kind of a different, business model, if you will, of how they do their cigar stuff. We've had Danny on from Danny D Cigars.
Right.
He would have to be the epitome of the guys that I've talked to as a collector. And I think if you asked him point blank, yeah, there's absolutely cigars that he will never smoke. He's collecting them to collect them. And hey, if that's what you're into, I mean, it's whatever, man. This is the nice thing about this is you don't have to follow a program. You can run your own.
That's right.
So,
Well, and in fact, he's got his line is now expanded to 3, so we got to get him on and do some cigar tasting.
yeah, that's right. He told me that when he came in the other day.
it'd also be interesting to ask him about the process to get there, because I forgot that he had his own line. Yeah.
The first 2 are amazing. The third one I'm kind of excited for. So
Yeah.
But to on your question from earlier, for me it's not so much an event, or it I think much like Scott and your dad, it is a time. The Lusitanias, however, because of their cost factor and how difficult they are for us to get in the United States, it kind of tends to be a more of a, I'm just going to look at you for right now. I've smoked one that was a gift, and it's why I bought some. But I've also had, thanks to this gentleman's generosity, quite a few Cuban cigars from when he was, bootlegging from Jamaica and Aruba and whatever other friggin' little island he visited. So I've had a good amount of Cubans. So the mystique's not really there. It's just the, holy crap, these are $50 each now, and I'm not going to be able to get very many money anymore. So it lends to sitting on them for a while. I mean, hell, Operation Cuban Liberation was, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's that long
And
ago.
I still have 2 Cohiba Lanceros from 6 years ago out of the box that I bought.
Okay.
So,
I think I have 2 left. Somewhere in my humidor. I just don't think about them. It's just
What was
eventually.
Greg? What was the one you gave me not too long ago?
the Lusitania.
Yeah. I still have that in the bag that you gave it to me in.
Hopefully open.
It's open, but because I wanted to differentiate it, so I left it in that bag. I am happy to report is starting to plume.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
So
I might have to borrow it from you for a few weeks then and nestle it with mine.
yeah, I was like, and I was digging through the it's on the top shelf of my humidor, and yes, sir.
You're gonna borrow it to like a sexually transmitted disease.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
gonna lay with your
Yes,
cigar.
that's exactly what we're saying.
Like a fungus, it's gonna infuse.
Yeah, that works, by the way.
Or it'll make
Yeah, it
his
does.
or it'll make his jealous and be like, "Damn, we want to look like." I don't know. I don't know his thinking.
I gave I had some blue cars going back to those again.
Light blue or dark blue?
Light blue. That plumed, and I split what I had. I think I had 14, and I loaned out 7 to 2 different people so that it could plume theirs, and it worked. It definitely works.
Yeah.
You need
Well,
almost a
it's-
little bit higher humidity than you would normally run. So if you're running 69 or 70, to get that to work, you need to bump it up to about 72, 73.
Well, that makes sense because plume is the little crystallization of the natural sugars in the leaf and the oils, right?
Correct.
Well,
Look at him go.
Well,
I like
hang
that.
on. Isn't crystallization triggered by itself if you have a really saturated solution of like salt or sugar and you put a piece of
Yes.
sugar in there, it'll start to crystallize off itself because it's growing off. It makes sense then
Yeah.
if it's a crystalline structure
Okay.
that it kind of triggers that reaction.
So-
But I would imagine, like you said, you have to have the humidity right still, and you have to
Yeah,
have.
it helps if the humidity is a little higher than normal.
And see, that's where I keep my humidor, and that's probably why mine haven't plumed, because I keep my humidor at 68, which is more appropriate for Cuban cigars versus 70 or 72.
Yeah, I'm typically between 68 and 70. I've had a little harder time with keeping mine up closer to 70 because of how much stuff I have in there. Mm-hmm. And I have a 4.5 foot wide by 6 foot tall cabinet. So, and the humidification is at the very bottom. So pushing that air up.
He had that problem too originally.
Yeah.
I have a different fan in there now that forces the air up, but the same thing. It's a 2-stage. There's 2 different sets of doors. So the lower small doors is where the humidification is. And then when you open the top doors, there's a shelf that pulls out that runs the entire width of my humidor. And I've got that packed full. So that in itself is, pretty much an air dam for slowing that down. So I've figured out that, if I pull some of that shit out, I get more airflow,
Yep.
but I'm to the point where I have to have a bunch of shit down there because
Yeah,
I don't have any other place to put it.
You may have filled up the shelf space, but I think you exceeded the airflow space quite a bit ago.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
made it a little difficult.
That's
So
my
that-
problem. I'm worried about airflow space. I have another shelf, but I need to get another one of those little dowels
Yeah.
to put in there, and I gotta find another 1 or 2 dowels so I can sit that shelf in there.
You can probably take one of the ones out and take it to Ace Hardware.
Okay,
You'll find it over there. But
groovy.
and that becomes the problem, and certainly at my house that's definitely the case. I have a whole humidor that right now is just storing boxes and such because I don't have the humidification device. You know, you've all seen the YouTube video of basically my rear end, sorry about that, building that 5,000 count cabinet humidor, but that comes with a, you know, I have to get another humidification unit for it, and then I need to get a bunch of trays because it has nothing in it, and because it's a it's a trunk. So, you know, there's storage. I have space for a lot more cigars than I actually have, but I need to get some stuff first before that. And I'm kind of dragging my feet until PCA because I want to talk to Cigar Oasis and get a show deal instead of well, that's disappointing.
Oh, starting to
Get a
split.
show deal instead of paying, you know, $400 for the thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of outside storage ways that might help for both of you if necessary. I mean, the Husky totes that Danny turned me on to.
Oh, yeah.
They work amazing. They're airtight. And my 18-gallon tote, I've got 4 of the big Vovitas in there, and it's holding it at 70% humidity perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need another piece of humidor furniture in my future.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be a long future, but hey.
So on that note,
1950 Westinghouse refrigerator.
The only problem is where I'm going to put it in my office because I have, like, you know, that one wall where I had the humidor and I have, like, display
actually, though,
stuff
the
now.
refrigerator might work for that instance because it would be more insulated so it would not see the temperature swing so bad like the other one did.
Yeah, because my office is above the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when it's cold, you get that cold air. But when the summertime, oh, shit.
And if it's a fridge from the 50s, it's lead lined, so your cigars are protected in case of nuclear apocalypse. You know,
God bless.
Yeah, I won't be, but hey.
Yeah.
some,
Speaking
some
of-
lucky son of a bitch will find it.
Yes.
So it's bad news Monday from Gregory here. What do we got?
Not necessarily bad news. Well, let's start with bad news Monday, Mr. Robinson.
Well, and I'm going to be delicate when I say this for a very specific reason until my severance check clears.
I wouldn't even do that. Remember,
No,
don't,
shut up.
don't burn bridges.
I'm not burning bridges, but after 29 years in telecom, AT&T informed me that my position has been eliminated.
You redundant.
Yes, I am redundant, so my last day is Friday the 3rd, and I am off to another adventure. It's been fun. It's been a fun 29 years, I have to say. So, you know, just move on, and after the 3rd, maybe I'll get into some more detail, but right now I'm just going to say, let me see, hold on. I am very grateful for the time that I had with the company. It's funny how you sit in like one building and your company name changes like 3 times. When I first started, it was Pacific Bell, then SBC, then SBC bought AT&T and then took the AT&T name, and hence we are now at AT&T. Well, because of the tech market and such, basically cost-cutting measures, the first thing they cut is labor.
Yes.
So basically I was informed a couple weeks ago that I am what we have a cute name for it. We call it surplused. So I got surplused, but the good news is because of the age and the time I spent, I get to retire. So we color it forced retirement, which just means basically I get my retirement benefits. So, you know, good news there.
Yeah.
We would like to thank you for your time, sir, at Pakistani Telephone and Telegraph. Nice knowing you, bitch. Get out.
And the listeners might be going, wow, these guys are cruel. No, you should have been there on day 1 when Scott and Larry and I were sitting in the humidor or in the new lounge at TR when he was going off. You won't see that.
No, you won't see that. But no, you weren't around for the couples dinner.
Oh, my God.
No,
yeah.
that's because I'm a single, you know.
Yeah, that's your own damn
Dude,
fault.
he got beat like a redheaded stepchild.
Good
Dude,
job, Danny.
It was so bad that on the drive home, my wife's like, I felt a little uncomfortable at some of those comments. Oh, well, thank God Scott didn't, because he was probably armed. You know? So
I wasn't armed. I was drinking. I don't arm myself when I drink. You do hear that, Sheriff Wu.
yeah.
Well,
All right, lay it on us, Greg.
Yes.
so let's talk about, you know, we we want to talk about a little bit of what's going on in the cigar world. PCA is coming up. Wrong company. Sorry about that. TPE, the Total Product Expo, which not only covers cigars, it covers OTP, other tobacco products. It covers cigarettes. It covers vape. It covers hookah. It covers weed. It covers all this other kind of bullshit.
I don't mean to like disrupt your flow. Is it Total Products Expo or Tobacco Products Expo?
Total Product now.
Okay. Yeah,
They did. They changed the name
Okay.
last year.
I was just like,
It used to be Tobacco Product Expo. Yes.
okay.
Gorilla?
I was gonna say I understand the frustration of we're lumping this all together, but it's like the interests are aligned enough it makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Sure.
So that was this weekend, this past week. Beyond the Humidor did not go. We will, however, be going next year. At least I will be, because I want to check it out. And I've been told by certain manufacturers, John from Christoph, said it really is something that I need to go see. So I'm going to do it. That being said, one of the biggest news that came out that I sent you guys in... Oh, crap. I'm an idiot. I didn't bother putting that link. So, if you live in the state of California, some jackass fuckstick of a congressman, state legislature level congressman, has decided to introduce a bill paralleling off of a
New Zealand.
an order from His Majesty's government in New Zealand about banning tobacco purchase anyone born before XYZ number. In our case in California, it's January 1st of 2007.
After. So if
Anyone
you're
born after that,
yes.
you can't buy tobacco. What the actual hell do they think they get to dictate what we can and cannot buy as adults?
I affectionately call it the Logan's Run bill.
Yeah. The scary part of this, guys, is based on the history of what's gone on over the last few years with tobacco legislation, the chances of this clearing the bar are better than average, number one.
Especially in this state.
Yes.
There's already a similar law locally in Massachusetts for a local municipality that has survived in the court rulings.
Yeah.
So there's precedent. This is concerning. I don't agree at all with that type of legislating, whether it's tobacco products, whether it's alcohol, firearm, whatever it is. I think they've reached too far. Not to mention the fact that it has nothing to do with cannabis or vape or anything else. It's just
Vape, it does. The only thing it limits in California's bill is it does not affect marijuana.
the article I read this morning said that vape was most vape products were excluded too.
So now they're doing a different one and that's, you and I and Scott and Gorilla talked to one of the chief lobbyists for the Premium Cigar Association, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's predominantly an organization based on the retailer, but they're out there lobbying for our rights as cigar smokers and the tobacco industry because this stuff comes up all the time, and they typically win.
It's not a cliche to say that we're under attack. I mean, this is not being melodramatic at this point, because basically when you have things like tobacco-free California, and then you're going to do a push to exclude an entire generation from, tobacco products. I'm not saying, hey, everybody should smoke tobacco, but you should have the choice.
Yeah.
If that's what you choose to do, fine. But it's just ironic that now, when we had Nixon enact a war on drugs back in the 70s, and now we have a war on tobacco, and we kind of ease back. And I have my own feelings about the war on drugs to a certain extent. I don't, personally, I don't think you should criminalize marijuana. I mean, I'm talking about nonviolent drug offenses. But to the point where now we're just attacking tobacco, and now we've kind of eased up on marijuana because of the tax, implications. Because it puts money into the state coffers.
Well, don't forget, tobacco is taxed at an excruciatingly high rate. So it's same thing. You're going to see a coffer, a dwindling of taxes going into the coffers, and then it's going to be, oh, crap, now what?
Now, they've also went after menthol cigarettes.
Gone.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah, your dad's Cools.
Yes, the Cool Filter Kings, they don't have menthol in them anymore. And I fucked up when I was in Florida because I was at an Indian casino. I should have bought a couple of cartons of Cools because, those had menthol in them.
We just now have to, where we have to go. It's only 90 miles over the road in
Oh, that's right.
deep feet of snow.
Well, after the snow melts, I will go to Free America and pick up a few cartons.
So let's continue on with the legislative bullshit that I found too. Larry, your old stomping grounds.
San Diego.
Not quite, but close enough to it. Encinitas, California, passes smoking ban on sidewalks and in parked cars.
Yep.
No smoking outside anywhere, including sitting in your freaking car parked.
Walnut Creek did the same fucking thing.
So did Davis.
Yep.
Yep.
Of course.
In fact, somebody I know used to love to flout the Davis thing by driving through there smoking a cigar.
I got yelled at in Davis
That don't surprise me at all.
at 7:30 in the morning, parked in front of a real estate office, waiting for them to open. Sitting in my truck, lady came out of the shop next door that was closed, was not open for business, and knocked on my window and told me I couldn't smoke there.
Please tell me what your response was.
I just looked at her, took a big draw on my cigar. My windows were up. Blew smoke, started the truck, and drove a block down and parked and waited for the office to open and drove back around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not one of those guys that's going to, open your mail slot and blow smoke in your mail slot into your business. But you can't smoke in your own parked car or in your own backyard. That's getting a little ridiculous.
It is. It is.
And Encinitas is not as bougie as La Jolla or some of those others, but it's getting close.
Mm-hmm.
The median home price $4 million. It's getting kind of bougie.
Yeah.
So,
Just a little.
So you'll love this one. We have ranted on this for the show for several months now. Everybody's familiar with the company Habanos S.A. They are the Cuban company.
Yes.
The company.
Yes.
Last year, they generated $545 million in revenue, a new record for them. No shit when you raise everything's prices by 100%.
well,
Yeah. And more than 100%.
Yeah.
yeah,
But-
130, 135% almost on
Yeah.
across the board.
Good that they're surviving.
Yep.
Another thing that I saw over the week is seasoned cigar smokers that are maybe running a podcast like we are, or really do get into brands and this, that, and the other things, and the get-tos and the wherefores and all that, know that Cuban Cohiba, i.e. S.A. Habanos, and Dominican Cohiba, the Cohiba Red Dot, the Cohiba Blue Dot, etc., have been suing each other repeatedly over the copyright of Cohiba. We have had a new line of lawsuits back and forth. General Cigar is now suing Cuba in Cohiba trademark dispute. They're suing again. And if you guys are wondering, by the way, where I'm getting most of the information that we're discussing, Half Wheel is a great source for you guys to look at if you want cigar news. I also follow Smoking Tobacco, which is a fellow podcast, and a few others, that Blind Man's Puff, which we met.
Oh, there you go.
All nice people. They put out news far better than we do. So that's where half the stuff I get that we're talking about in this instance is coming from. Another thing that came out, which is really cool. If you remember our guest, beg your pardon, about 6 or 8 months ago, we talked to Ed Trevino for Ace Prime and Luciano Cigars. Well, Luciano and Ace Prime Luciano and Pichardo did come to separate and start their own company. So Luciano has now opened up their own facility in the Dominican Republic. They are solely doing their product at their factory, distributing from their factory. So, if you're a fan of the Dreamer, the Fiat Lux, the Mas Igneus, the Luciano, he's now doing all his stuff in-house. And I don't know about you two, but I happen to like his products and wish you all the best of success. Hey, Ed, we do need him on the program. Ed, you paying attention, Ed? I know. That's ridiculous, right?
Stop that.
What would you say if Cuba has finally allowed a female co-president?
So?
Congratulations to Mauricia Carrillo Gonzalez, who joins Luis Sanchez. Yeah, I'm not going any farther than that with his last name in running S8 Habanos as co-president of the company.
Salute. Good for her. Yes,
absolutely. And the last thing I had on my thing, because I bounce these around instead of doing them in order. It's pricing season, so to speak. If you're a retailer, this is the time of year where typically we're seeing a lot of notices coming out about price increases in their lines. One of our good friends, Sinestro, James, and his partner, unfortunately, are going to be increasing their prices a little bit. One of the things that got me to want to talk about this with you two particularly, and don't forget the gorilla over there, is, and I know this has been heard from another one that we're close to, a retailer. Price increases are unfortunate, but they must happen. And especially when, knowing James like we do, those two have tried and done their best as former retailers to absorb the costs as much as they can, but it does reach a point where you can't anymore.
Yeah,
you can't defer the cost of your business.
There's definitely a ceiling when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah.
And, labor's a factor. Shipping's
killing it right now.
Oh, yeah. Huge factor.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just, the shipping prices are just off the charts on stuff right now.
Yeah, and then you've got the import, the taxes, and everything else goes in it. The reason I bring it up is not so much to bash, James or Sinestro or any other company that has to do these price increases, but I think we as smokers, as the consumer, we tend to bitch when price increases go into effect. And unfortunately, yes, that is the case, but you really got to think about it. We're supporting their business, and their business supports their families. So yes, there is the inconvenience of the price increase, but you got to think we're still helping to support them.
They're not gouging you to gouge you.
Exactly.
The nice thing about this industry is it's super focused as far as the manufacturers to the retailers to the consumers. We all feel like we're part of that gig, and I don't like seeing prices go up, but I understand the reasoning for it, and you accommodate it.
Mm-hmm.
Gas ain't 78 cents no more. Cigars aren't 5 cents. It's just a fact of cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Right.
And you budget for your vice how you budget for your vice, and we're going to continue on one way or another.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, the types of cigar smokers that we are, we're not going to sit there and say, well, short of Cubans, of course, we're not going to look, it's like, the prices went up. Okay, maybe you'll buy one or two less, but you're still going to smoke it.
Yes.
If it's one of your favorite cigars, one of your go-tos, or if it's one of those neutrals where it's like, I haven't had this in a while. Yeah, it's kind of high, but fuck it,
Well, and it narrows your focus a little bit.
Yeah.
When stuff starts going up, you look at what your favorites are, and you try to support those, those companies that you like and you appreciate their product, and so on and so forth. So.
Well,
It's just kind of the natural evolution of things.
It depends on the type of cigar smoker you are, pretty much.
Well, and I think that's where the three of us, four of us, have a unique view, because when there was before pre-COVID, when we would get the face-to-face interaction with the faces of the company at different events, you see that it's not so much, it is a commercial industry, yes, but they run their businesses more like family versus commercially. So it really changes the way you think about it. And I saw that a lot when we were at PCA, because you've got, the different manufacturers are coming into each other's booths, shaking hands, hugging, talking to each other. It's not, there's competition within business, yes, but there's also a camaraderie that goes around there.
There's a family feel to the cigar industry that I don't think you get in other industries. Definitely not in the, hard alcohol industry, you know, the bar business type of thing. We didn't see that. So cigars are a unique animal when it comes to that. We've talked about that before, but it's just as long as we don't legislate them to death, it's going to be here for a long time, because there's plenty of following. There's plenty of people that appreciate that. We just have to be cognizant of the fact that, the legislation is the enemy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, the mix between competing cigar companies. Basically, it's, I want to do very well, but for me to do well, I don't have to see you go out of business.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting here.
Well, definitely, because when this boutique cigar company succeeds, this boutique cigar company over here, it's easier for them to succeed. And, it's quality begets quality. So,
right.
And this industry has embraced that, I think, better than most other things that I've been witness to.
I agree.
And I think that even translates into the retail shop too, because when you've got the boutiques, you've got the cigar companies are upping their game every year. They're making better product. They're making some killer accessories have been coming out recently. Cigar being one of them that we saw this year at PCA. It also causes the retailer to up their game, which I think is just a upward chain mobility help in the whole thing.
It's funny you mention that, because that was something I was thinking about the other day. Having come from the bar industry, the liquor industry, it's surprising to me how slow the cigar industry, how long it took them, how slow they moved to embrace the swag side of the business. And now the last few years, that's not the case, because you're seeing a lot more of it. But it took a long time. I've been smoking cigars a long time. It took a long time to see a branded ashtray or a branded lighter or anything. It was just like that just wasn't on their radar. They were so focused on the end product, which is the cigar, that, and making that doubly weird to me is how much marketing and forethought they put into the packaging, as far as the boxes, the artwork, the construction, all the stuff that goes into the box presentation. Why wouldn't you carry that farther on with accessory products? And the fact that it took so long for the industry to jump on board with that just boggled my mind. I couldn't understand that, because liquor, Christ, they you can get anything with a Budweiser logo on it. Some shit you don't want but and not bagging on Budweiser. That's just the first one that came to mind. I collected for a long time when I was in the bar business, Hamm's stuff. Hamm's beer had a ridiculous amount of stuff. I mean, the Hamm's beer, clocks, T-shirts, hats, surfboard. I mean, whatever you wanted with a Hamm's beer, you could probably find it, right?
Well, it was funny because tobacco has done that, but not the cigar industry.
Not the cigar industry.
Marlboro did that.
Marlboro and Camels.
Yes.
When I was still bartending, I had a friend that smoked Camel Lights, and the amount of Camel stuff that she had was just ridiculous. She was a waitress. She was a graveyard waitress at a Denny's.
Ooh.
At Via de la Valle in Del Mar, right off the I-5 freeway, which is throwing distance to the Del Mar Fairgrounds. and a horse racing track.
Okay.
And she worked there for a long time. And people knew that she smoked Camels and knew that she collected Camel Cash, the little thing that came on your pack of cigarettes. Dude, this girl had so much of that shit. The pool table light, 28 million Camel Cash, whatever the hell it was. She had one.
God.
But she'd get, she had customers in that thing that came in there every night. And she got Camel Cash every day. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just, I think it's odd that it took cigars so long to pick up on that.
Yeah.
Because we went apeshit at Rocky Mountain and at PCA, like, I got to have one of those.
Yeah.
Dude, Scott and I both bought an ashtray at, who'd we get that from?
Oh, I can't remember. It's the black ashtray, right?
Yeah,
With the skull on it.
Yes.
Wasn't that, oh crap. I know which one, because
It wasn't black.
it wasn't, was it Black Label? Black Star?
Label. I think it was Black
Yeah,
Label.
I think so.
Ridiculous. I do not need another ashtray.
No, but that ashtray was cool.
Oh, it's cool as hell. I could throw an ashtray away every week for 2 years and still have more ashtrays than I need.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things.
Well, and not to bring up a sore subject for you and I, but, when I got my really cool Balmoral only lighter, that's the ashtray right there.
Yep.
We'll have to get that picture over to Gorilla.
Oh, no
But
doubt.
when I got my Balmoral lighter that then got friggin' confiscated, but, it's silly that we like these things, but I do. I mean, I've got branded everything. Every time somebody comes out with a cigar line that I like that's branded something, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Gregory, TSA pre.
Screw you, Mr. Robinson.
Well, screw you. I'm trying to be helpful
I
here.
know. I really need to do that, but
Yeah, helpful, Viva.
it just comes down to
Indeed.
the branding is everything, and especially in the cigar industry, because we get brand loyal to certain lines. It's just the way humanity is.
Well, and it's, it's another, you've spent all this time and all this effort and all this money on the marketing for the labels, for the boxes, for all the other stuff. Throw an ashtray out there. God damn it, throw a crowbar in your wallet, you son of a bitch, and make an ashtray.
Yeah.
And now most of them are doing that, and we're seeing some cool stuff. And Rocky Patel is one of the ones that I think is at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
Rocky's got some cool shit every year. I have the briefcase.
So do I.
The drinks cabinet.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From Patel. I've got some Patel ashtrays. I got lighters.
I've got two Rocky Patel humidors that he had about maybe 7 years ago or so.
The beautiful leather, and I think you've got a leather one and the black one.
I have two of the black ones. I sold my leather one over to Roy.
I'm not going to lie, that Rocky Patel, the drinks and cigars case might be one of the coolest bits of cigar
Yes.
Yeah.
paraphernalia I've seen.
And I
Yeah.
don't use it.
Yeah.
No, but you have it.
It just sits there. Gurkha. I've got a molded leather 3-cigar holder that slides together from Gurkha that I've had forever. You had to buy a box of Gurkha Shaggies back in the day to get one of those. And those were the ones in the treasure chest box. That was a shitload of money back then.
Yeah.
And those were great cigars too.
Well, it's like, you get, and it doesn't need to be much. I mean, look at the, my travel humidor now is a leather branded travel humidor from Don Doroteo.
Yep.
It's just really cool.
Yep.
And that's, the stuff that people want. And
there's some neat stuff out there now. It's
think
good.
about that. One of the things that still kills me, and which, the metal, the machined aluminum metal ashtrays we saw at PCA, the little travel ashtrays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Freaking cool shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I use.
Yeah,
I still use mine.
Me too.
Mine is next to my chair.
Yeah.
We couldn't get our hand in our pocket fast enough to buy those.
Yeah. It's like, take my money.
And there were 2 or 3 things like that. the pick and lighter sets.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
there's just cool stuff. So,
And I think that's one of the best things about the industry now, and it's why that we need to. Unfortunately, we're 1% of the population is cigar smokers, but that 1% needs to be really vocal.
Yep. Yeah, if you want something, you got to stand up for it.
Absolutely.
And we'll get the link. Gorilla, I will send the links to Gorilla so he can put it in the descriptions of the various platforms that you'll see this on, of how to contact your state representatives, because the one thing PCA has done very well is they have that all. Mm-hmm. If you go to PCA's website, not to plug them, but hey, we're members, we might as well. If you go to PCA's website, you look at Premium Cigar Association, you're going to see the retailer side. That's what comes up. But if you look on the consumer action link that they have, that is the site that they have built for us as consumers to keep up with what they're doing for us. And if you want to donate to them, I highly recommend it. It's an organization that does spend their time at the state, local, and federal level, and now worldwide level to fight for cigar rights, because they're one of the ones that are pushing now against New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely something to look into.
We got final thoughts on cigars, guys?
Like I always say, what can I say? I haven't said already about Perdomo.
I don't really want to talk about mine. It blew up.
It betrayed him.
It did.
Betrayed him. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm getting it down pretty far because I'm using my Cigar.
So am I.
Thank you very much. And it's an Oscar product. It's not my favorite Oscar, but like I said, it's in the rotation every couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. Thanks, Oscar, for making a good product. Gorilla, how you doing over there?
Gorilla's enjoying the Yellowstone, and Gorilla. We've had a lot of upsetting cigar news. Can Gorilla end us on a somewhat comedic note?
Please do.
So, Unky Larry has stories about his dad. Gorilla's got one that's just dumb. We were both dumb. Mostly him, but both of us were dumb. So, yesterday, I need a new battery for my truck. My dad's like, let's just get it taken care of. What else is going on with your truck? Let's just take care of it today. Well, I was low on oil, and the power steering's making noise, so I need to top off power steering fluid. He's like, we'll just go take care of it. We'll get it all at O'Reilly's. You'll pay me back later. Just get it over with. So we go to O'Reilly's. We exchange the battery, grab oil, grab power steering fluid, come back. We do everything. We get the battery installed. We top off the... What?
Are you off mute?
I am off mute.
I'm just checking.
Hi. Yeah. So we get the oil. We do all the stuff. Back the truck out of the shop here. Check that the power steering isn't grinding anymore. We're good. And he says, all right, there's extra oil and leftover power steering fluid because we just need to top it off. Why don't you go put all that in the garage next door, so if you need it, you have it. I'm putting it away, and we're 2 for 3 on Camera Gorilla, looking at something, holding it up to one of you and going, what does that say? So I'm grabbing stuff, and I go to grab the power steering fluid, and I freeze. And I look at it. I go, hey, Dad? He's like, what? Because he can tell by the tone of my voice this isn't going to be good. He walks over, and I hold this bottle up and said, what does that say? What did it say, Dad?
Fuel system cleaner. That is the exact same size, shape, color of the brake fluid, and right fucking next to it. Fuck you, O'Reilly's.
Oh, no.
So he and I both have fuck. Because if it's a fuel additive, it's probably combustible, and it probably shouldn't be in a hydraulic pressure system.
Probably not. Can you get the oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no to play behind this one?
Huh?
Watch more Facebook reels.
Jesus fucking Christ. Shut up, all of you. But
did you have to drain the whole system?
we luckily all we did was back the truck out, so it was just topping off. We didn't completely replace it with 100% fuel system cleaner. So we just emptied what was in there out.
I pulled the reservoir hose and drained it into a plastic water bottle, which we will be throwing away, in our landfill. And went and got actual Power steering
And
fluid.
while he's double checking on YouTube just to make sure there's not any, it's Toyota. It should be fairly simple, but of course, when it's supposed to be simple, it never is. So we're double checking, like, is it as simple as unplug the hose and,
And drain this out
blow
of the
into
reservoir.
it? And yeah. And while he's doing that, I have the thought of, so are we going back to the O'Reillys, to the same guy, and explaining how we fucked up? And he's like, fuck no. And I'm like, are you sure? Because it'd make the story.
Napa.
Napa was fucking closed on Sunday. So we went to Napa first.
Yeah. And for anyone, because my buddy Ethan, I sent him this story yesterday because he's a car guy and I knew it would give him aneurysm, and it did, and it was hilarious. He's like, is it the O'Reilly tech's fault? I'm going to just say it's not the O'Reilly tech's fault. I was dealing with him with the battery. He didn't know what else we needed, so he probably just saw the fuel system cleaner and just assumed they need fuel system cleaner. So, yeah, we should be good. If there is any still in there, it's like 1%. So, I'm looking at this. This is an absolute win. Now my power steering system is carbon buildup free. So, so yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, shit happens.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right, Gorilla, take me home. All right, well, the smoke's getting close to the nub, and my glass is empty, so I think it's about that time. Want to thank everybody out there in the audience, and on behalf of the Gorilla gets top billing this week. Myself, Greg, and Larry, thank you for listening. Check us out at LumenCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. Drop us a line. Let us know you're out there. Let us know we're wrong. Say hi. Say something. I'm Scott Robinson, and from all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to talking to you on the next episode. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, take care, and good smoke, good drink, and good life. Woohoo!